previous 45 judicial appointments that you mentioned have been with the use of this judicial appointment panel.
Yes.
I was just wondering why you did not use the panel this time to make this selection.
Well, because I had already quite publicly stated that in my judgment, Judge Eric Brown was the person that I was supporting to be the next Chief Justice. And so the circumstances are different in that regard, certainly. I had stood beside him after I had urged him to seek this position and stated my strong belief that he was the right person to be the next Chief Justice. And so that was the difference between most of the other appointments that I made in this particular appointment.
Governor, how is this situation different than what you did in 2008 in the Attorney General's slot when you put Nancy Rogers in there to kind of fill out the rest of the term until 2008 election?
Well, I think the circumstances were in fact different in that this is the result, not a troubled office that had been charged with mismanagement and corruption, but it was a result of a sad and untimely death of a sitting Chief Justice who had presided over the court in an admirable way. And so it's the same set of very difficult and even chaotic circumstances that existed upon the resignation of Attorney General Mark Dan certainly are not relevant to the condition and the administration of court as it is today.
Governor, how closely did your staff vet or question the circumstances of Judge Brown's departure from the Attorney General's office in 2002, and are you concerned that there may be more information that will come out on that will reflect poorly on your decision to appoint him as Chief Justice?
I don't have that concern, and quite frankly, we did vet those circumstances carefully. And the fact that Judge Brown had served for, I think, a period of 11 years, admirably and effectively, I might add, and the fact that he and then Attorney General Ben Montgomery came to an agreement regarding his departure from that court does not seem problematic to me. And I think the fact that he served there so well and so effectively is what's important.
Governor, if Eric Brown does not win against Maureen O'Connor in the fall, are you prepared to appoint him to O'Connor's seat?
I can tell you that no arrangements or agreements have been made between me and Judge Brown regarding anything that could occur. I hope he is elected in November. I intend to work to try to accomplish that. But there have been no decisions or agreements reached regarding what would happen thereafter.
Governor, I'm not sure about the previous precedents of Supreme Court appointments, but in this case, Judge Brown will be serving on the bench with Justice O'Connor, and they're obviously running against each other. Is that going to create any kind of working issue on the court, or was that a factor in this decision?
Well, it shouldn't, because I would expect that both justices would conduct themselves professionally, and I would be surprised if that presented any problem. I certainly wouldn't expect it to be a problem from Judge Brown's perspective, and I would not expect it to be a problem from anyone else who's serving on the court currently.
The Republicans had already kind of preemptively criticized this move and suggested it would be a crass political move, I think was the rhetoric, and somehow tarnishing Justice Moyer's legacy to make this big. Did you consider it all sort of caretaker appointment to avoid any kind of political criticism?
Well, first of all, let me say that Tom Moyer and I had a very good relationship. I think our relationship was positive to the point where it would have been surprising to a lot of people. And I certainly would do nothing that would tarnish his legacy. But quite frankly, as you know, Judge Moyer has been advocating for Supreme Court vacancies to be filled by gubernatorial appointment, and then that person would stand for a retention election. And I mean, I'm not suggesting that this should happen, but quite frankly, if we were to have Justice O'Connor withdraw, we would have in place basically what Tom Moyer had suggested, an appointment by the governor, and then that person would stand for a retention election. Chief Justice Moyer and I shared a lot of time talking about his concerns regarding the Supreme Court, how members were selected, and I had in fact indicated to him that I was willing to work with him in his continuing efforts to bring about a change in the way Supreme Court justices were appointed and or were chosen. Now, in terms of the criticism, I would just invite you to ask the critics if they expressed the same concerns when Justice Evelyn Stratton was appointed and when Justice Terrace O'Donnell was appointed. Justice Stratton's appointment are circumstances that are almost identical to the current circumstances, except the opening did not occur as a result of a death. It occurred as a result of a resignation, thereby giving her the opportunity to be appointed and then to run as an incumbent. And so I wonder if my detractors would have expressed the same sentiments when those circumstances occurred. I think that's a fair question on my part. Well, because Judge Brown presides over a single judge court and has heavy responsibilities there, and we wanted to certainly give Judge Brown and the staff an opportunity to deal with this transition. And May the 3rd was as soon as we thought we could reasonably do that without causing serious disruption at the probate court.
Question for Judge Brown.
Sure.
Judge, is it your preference as you enter this new office to keep existing staff there during the duration of the election?
I understand and I know many of the staff. I know that they're a group of very high-quality professionals, and I look forward very much to working with the staff that is there.
Judge Brown, what's your position on judicial selection?
I think it's a topic that is worthy of discussion in the public arena. It is a topic that is appropriate for policymakers and for the people to consider. I think that the issues that have prompted the discussion are issues that are certainly worthy of consideration. We need to do all we can to ensure the confidence of the people in their courts.